How you doing, everyone? A lot of stuff running through my mind as usual. Some things I wanted to address with you today because we just had the latest economic stimulus bill get passed by Congress, and apparently it was close to 6,000 pages, and it was passed at night shortly after they received it. So there was no way any of them could have actually read the bill. So we're finding out today. I was just listening to a couple programs, and they're going down line by line some of the items that are on this, and some of them are just entirely just unbelievable. All the money that's going to foreign countries for things that they have, gender studies in Pakistan, a border wall for Jordan. The Congress here passed almost unanimously. The Senate passed 96 to 4 or 94 to 6. Um, they passed, the Democrats voting with them passed to build a border wall between Jordan and Syria. These are the same people who are bitching about securing the borders here. Um, it's just unbelievable. The list of things that they were reading off. Literally billions of dollars of your tax money going to foreign countries while we're in a crisis, and we're taking this on as more debt. Um, so the gist of this is going to be about Congress, and I wrote down a few things that were going through my head. Um, the differences between Congress then and now. So when this country first formed, the men who went to Congress didn't do it for the money. There's a big difference. The guys and girls today that go there, I call them guys and girls because they're not men and women. They're not, with very few exceptions. They It's a very cush gig for them. Most of them go there because they like the thought of them being powerful, and once they get there, they get sucked into this. They get a lot of perks. They have a driver. A lot of them do, not all of them, but they have a lot of perks, a lot of things that they get. It's good pay. The work isn't that hard for them. Um, they know that they're going to get a book deal or a lobbyist job afterwards. So this is a way to become a millionaire. So if you think these people are doing it just out of the goodness of their heart and their care for the country, you're absolutely wrong. That's not why the vast majority of them go through. There's a few exceptions, and there's enough of those that you can actually point them out. But the difference then and now is that those men took that job as literally public service. Um, that was a service to the nation, service to their fellow Americans. You got to look at the population when this country formed was about 3 million, just a little over 3 million. That's about 60% of the population of the county that I live in right now. So there weren't a lot of people. There weren't a lot of people here. And the people that did live here back then, you had to be hard. You had to be hard and you had to be tough just because life was tough. You didn't have all the modern conveniences. Every day you had to work to put food on the table, or whatever your profession was, you had to do that so you could earn money to put food on your table, from the farmer, the guy who was, you know, running the local produce store, to be able to get, you know, a lot of it was about survival. So these guys were hard. The people who go to Congress today are not hard. They're not tough. Um, the other thing is that most of these people who were in Congress early on had to be businessmen. They had to have a business mindset, because even in their everyday life, if you ran a small farm, you still had to figure out all the different ways, what you needed to plant, how you were going to get money to get the seed to plant, how to take care of your livestock, yeah, how to brew your own beer, all these things, trade, everything. These guys had to know all of this stuff. It was part of their everyday life. These idiots that you have in there now, most of them went to some pissant college and come out thinking that they're smart, and you can tell just by what they passed that they're not smart. These people are not bright, and it goes to the way everything is run up there, and it's a system, and they like it, and that's why they wanted Trump out there, because um, he was messing with their plans, and he was starting to expose a lot of this stuff. But the um, the difference between the character of the people back then, and think about all the founding documents and the things that we're going through now with the election and everything. Think the forethought that those guys had to have to put this stuff down in the founding documents, in the Constitution, with the amendments. They thought out a lot of this stuff. And their ability to do that back then with no internet, the only books they had were either printed here or copies that they could get from Europe. So these men were well read. They knew more about human history that had come before them than 99% of the people walking around in this country today. 99% of the people don't have any idea about the 240 years of this country, let alone going back to any of the ancient civilizations or anything. It's just amazing how you can become this advanced and have your populace be this fucking stupid. So again, this relief bill the other day was just unbelievably just ridiculous what they're doing with your tax dollars. The other thing going on now is the spy scandals. Now you saw Swalwell, and you have people coming out now saying the intelligence communities have been telling them that it's a lot deeper than that. So I'm guessing that there's a whole bunch more people that have been compromised in Congress. So you don't know what that led to as far as decisions that they make on voting. Like I said, these people are here for the wrong reasons. They're all there to get rich. The vast majority of them are there to get rich, not to serve. So if that can come from a contact from a foreign country, like Joe Biden, like what you're seeing there, whatever they have to do to get the money and have the power is what you're looking at now. So the character of just about the entire Congress is in question. So the thing is that this country is not the country that I grew up in. I mean, there's always been corruption. There's always been people like that. But as a kid, I remember you had faith in a lot of institutions. Today, I actually don't know. I was on a walk with my dog, and I started to think that maybe it's over. And what I mean by that, life's not going to cease, and the U.S. isn't going to go away. But throughout history, every single civilization that has been at the top has failed or faded away. Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, Phoenicians, Persians, modern times, all the European powers, Portugal, Spain. I mean, those countries are nothing anymore. Holland, the Dutch were very very advanced. The French and the British. Now the British, the sun never sets on the British Empire because you had colonies all over the world. Look at them now. After the Second World War, the U.S. stepped into that number one slot and became the world power, the world superpower. Even look at the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union collapsed almost overnight. I mean, they were tottering because economically they couldn't compete with us, with the U.S., and we just outspent them, thanks to that guy right there. But the situation now is different. The U.S. has so many problems right now, and I could list them all. The stuff that we have in Congress, we can't trust the people that are in charge. We can't trust I have no faith. The FBI we know is crooked. We know that's corrupt. There's people in there. There's a battle in there, or there's not, or they become so. It's all this wokeness and this worrying about more about what somebody has between their legs or what their skin pigmentation is, then is that the person, the actual best person for the job? And you're seeing that now as Biden's coming in. Oh, we got to have this color per yesterday. Oh, we have to have an Asian Pacific Islander. Get the fuck out of here. If you can find one that's better at the job than all the other people out there, then you can put that person in. If they are absolutely the best person for that job, by all means. If they are not, if there's somebody more qualified than them, and you're just doing it because of that, you're fucking this country up. And that's exactly what has happened here in the state of Illinois. That's why it's all fucked up. They just, we gotta, it's unbelievable. But the FBI, we know they're crooked. We saw how that was. Those are people who all got put in at the top by Obama. And I'm sick of all these people out there saying, well, the rank and file people are very good. No, they're fucking not. If they were, what they would have done is they would have came out somebody, if they weren't worried just about their job and a fucking paycheck, they would have came out and they would have said something a long time ago. Somebody would have stood up. If I was working there and I saw the shit that went on, I'd be the first one. I'd be out in front of every TV camera saying, fuck this job. This is what they're doing. This is how they're trying to screw you over. But I don't see anybody doing that. I don't know if it's fucking cowardice. They're scared. Um, but sometimes, man, you got to throw yourself on a grenade. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry this camera's going in and out a little bit. Um, the FBI is compromised. Can't trust them to do any of these investigations. The DOJ is compromised. And this was all this stuff happened big time under Obama. And one of my earlier videos, I went into how Obama was raised. He's not from Chicago originally, but he was raised in the Chicago political system. The Chicago political system is, by any means necessary, cut the opposition's throat. Put your people in. This is the way it works here. They pick all the judges, they handpick everybody, so they have control over everything. That's what he tried to do on a national scale, and nobody friggin' believes me. When you see Eric Holder and the shit that he put, they put all these people in place to set this stage for Hillary to go forward, and this was going to be their thing. Nobody was ever going to know. Nobody would have ever known about all the shit that went on. The Durham, what his investigation now, and I'm waiting to see if that doesn't get quashed by either Biden, if he does get in, or if he just says, well, there's nothing to see here because he wants to keep his gig if Biden comes in. They're all suspect. Now, your courts, excuse me, just had a little dinner. Your courts are absolutely corrupt. You look at state courts, Pennsylvania Supreme Court, they're elected officials. Anyone can be bought. If you realize the amount of money that is out there, these billions and billions and billions of dollars between nation states and big businesses and big tech companies, billions of dollars. Anybody can be bought. You think because you give some judge a life appointment and give him a $200,000 a year paycheck, you think he doesn't want more? Anybody can be bought. We had Graylord here in Chicago. All the judges were bought. My old man used to buy judges off all the time. That's, for another story. I'll tell you all kinds of stories one of these days. But right now, I want to get in this. So the things you can't trust: the FBI, the CIA. They're you don't know what's going on there. The DOJ. These organizations are not the same as when I was younger. When I was in this military, when I was a kid, they don't operate the same way now. There's a different group of people. You got a bunch of people. You got a lot of millennials in there now. And I'm going to tell you right now, millennials, sorry if you're watching this and sorry if you get offended, but you're fucking soft. You're soft and you're fucking stupid, most of you. You just have no clue what you're missing or what the fuck you're doing. You think you got it all figured out. You don't. The election system. Nobody has any faith in the election system. You got half of the country right now has no faith in the election system. If you have half the populace that doesn't have faith that they can choose their leaders, and when you try your avenues for some type of solution through the courts or through politicians or the DOJ, when you can't get that, when you don't have faith in any of them because they've all been corrupted, what's your option? What's your option? Going back to I said before, the situation is different from when other nations have faded away. I mean, England faded away. They're still on the scene, but they're nowhere near what they used to be as far as influence in the world. The difference between that is we now face a threat from China militarily, but also economically. There's never been anyone able to challenge us since the end of the Second World War, before the Second World War. Once we came out of the Depression, there is no one who's been able to match us economically. They say the Chinese are about 80% right now, 80% there. We keep stumbling. This can happen. They can overtake us very quickly. That happens, we're in trouble. We're gonna be on the downside. And we're just gonna be like most of the people are. Oh well, I still get to take my kids to the soccer game, and yay, isn't that great? You have no idea what effect that has on the world, the entire world. What happens going forward if the Chinese control what's going on this planet? You don't know the risks. And if you think that's saving your kids, well, we just want peace and shit. Well, your kids are going to wind up in a war somewhere, or your kids are going to be smoked by a mushroom cloud here from Iran once they get weapons, because under Biden, they will have nuclear weapons in those 4 years. I guarantee you that they have nuclear weapons, and they're gonna fucking use them when they get them. They're gonna rattle that saber, and they're gonna get them. Um, you voted. You people who voted for Biden out there. Here's who you voted with. You voted with communists. You voted with the people burning the cities, Antifa, Black Lives Matter. Everyone trying to tear this country down is who you sided with. So just think about that. The people burning flags in the streets, that's who you voted with. And you can sit there and say, well, that's not me. I'm not. You voted for the same fucking people. Think about that. Why would they vote the same way you voted? What did they see? They thought they're trying to tear this place down, and you just helped them. So you may not like that. I don't care if you don't like it. Um, the the realization just came over me that it may be over. The Congress that we have, unless the only here's the thing, the only way to right this is a massive, massive fucking uprising by the people. And what that's going to do is it's going to cause mass chaos and confusion in this country, which is going to allow the Chinese to possibly achieve their goal. The only thing that it may do is it may get us back on the path to where something can happen. And people talk about you can't advocate an overthrow of the government, and I would never do that. There's nothing wrong with our system of government. Our system of government put forward by those original members of Congress, those original founding fathers, the closest thing to a perfect system this world has ever seen. And it's the people that are there now that are messing this up. It's not the system. It's not our form of government. It's not the way it's set up. It's the people that are there and what they're trying to do to it. Now, if we don't do something about that, I said it would not be an overthrow of the government. It would be a removal of people who are not fit to be there. And we see these people with these spy scandals. And Nancy Pelosi, you just saw this. She held this back. They admitted she held this money back from the people who are suffering out there because she didn't want to give Trump any chance of winning in the election. She kept this back. She hurt you. She stuck a knife in your back, even though you who voted Democrat, she stuck a knife in your back just to get Donald Trump out of there because she realized this fucks all their gigs up. 80% of the American people want term limits. Why do term limits never get brought up by anyone in Congress? At the state level, at the federal level, why are there no term limits? They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care what you think. They get there and they do. When's the last time you had your congressman come back and do a town hall and say, hey, listen, this is what's before us. How do you guys think I should vote? If you didn't get, I'm not only pissed off, but I am worried, because it's not just about, we can't keep going like this with the people that are there. We cannot keep going with this fucking Congress. We have no money. The money that they just put up, almost $1 trillion, we have to borrow because we don't have it. And this goes for Republicans too. I saw Lindsey Graham. They were talking about the shit that he put in the bill. He's worried about people in Pakistan. Just it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. It's one of those that goes back to Nancy Pelosi. Remember a few years back with the Obamacare? Well, we have to pass it to see what's in it. Think about that logic. If somebody said to you at work, you would punch them square in the head. If they said, "Well, I'm just going to nail this together, and we'll know if it stands up after we get people up in the elevator." This has to stop. So the only way to fix this is And it can't wait till elections. You see, if you can't trust the electoral system, what are you going to wait 2 more years? You see, one thing I wanted to get Mitt Romney. Now you're looking at if the Democrats win these houses in the Senate, what you're going to see, and mark my words, Mitt Romney is the biggest fucking snake out there. He is a wishy-washy milquetoast fuck that wants to be the president himself. So what he's going to do, this is what he's going to do. If the Republicans win both, it'll be 52-48. You got to worry about Murkowski and Collins, those two wishy-washy fucks too. They just won re-election also, so none of them care. They got 6 more years of a high-paid gig. They will go with the Democrats on some of this shit. If heaven forbid, if it goes 51-49, and then all it takes is one of those three clowns to go over and vote with the Democrats, and then it becomes a tie, and then Kamala Harris has the tie-breaking vote. And you would see Romney do this because he wants to be president so bad. In 2024, he wants to come out there and say, I can work across that same lame old shit about working across the aisle. Fuck working across the aisle. They don't see anything like you do. When you get in there, it's because people elected you to put your views and your values forth, not to get out there and say, oh, I'm going to compromise everything I believe in to agree with AOC. It doesn't work that way. You should be in there fighting. That's what the people sent you. All these people, I'm a fighter. I'm going to fight for you. None of them are ever, you see these scars in his crooked nose here? Trust me, I've been punched in the face a lot. I can tell you about fighting. None of these people are fighters. Mitt Romney is going to try and be president in 2024, and his thing is going to be, oh, I worked with Democrats and I worked with Republicans. That is exactly what you don't need. A spineless, gutless fuck like that running this country. You got one that doesn't even know where the fuck he's at right now, who's supposed to be taking office. We'll see what happens in Congress. In my last video, I talked about that. There's still a chance, hopefully, that he gets out. But in Congress, they've got to do something. You cannot. The people that are in there, the people that are running it, Schumer, Pelosi, these people are not Americans. They do not want what's best for this country. So I'm at almost 23 minutes here. I'll cut this here now. I'll probably do a couple more videos tonight because I got so much going through my head. But I wanted to get that out there. And Congress has to, it's got to end. It's got to end or we go down. That's the bottom line. That's it for this video. Talk to you later.